Baseball fans and proud Arubans goes crazy for Xander Bogaerts of the Boston Red Sox. Plus, in today's lifestyle segment, the invasion of the lionfish in Atlantic waters is creating international headlines. And the second annual of the Battle of the Food Trucks event is this weekend. 15 on 15 starts right now.
Thanks for watching. I'm Yentl. To start off your week, we have once again taken the show outside of ATV studios. Today we are here at Matthew's Beachside Restaurant, which is located inside the Casa del Mar Resort. Let's get started with your local news. If you were to ask the locals in Aruba to name one sport that best represents them or is the most popular, they'd probably tell you baseball. So to have one of their own Aruban players in the big league is a very big deal.
Whether it's fan of the Boston Red Sox team or local fans of Xander Bogaerts, they both went crazy on Sunday night. Xander proved his baseball skills to the world. The manager of the Red Sox team says he can't even begin to compare what the 21-year-old Xander is demonstrating. In 6 postseason games, Xander has 3 hits, all doubles, in 6 at-bats, 5 walks, and 7 runs scored. After Sunday night's game, a reporter asked him about his native Caribbean island of Aruba.
You have 3 at-bats, 3 and 2 counts. When you get into a game like this, are you still able to remain as calm as it seems?
Man, I told all the other reporters, there was something about the 2-2 pitch Scherzer threw me my first at-bat. I took it in a weird way, man. I don't know what happened, but I think there was like a heads up that today was going to be a good day. I took it so weird. It was a weird feeling. I even started laughing afterwards. It was, I don't know, it was weird.
And then what about you get the 3 and 2 and then hit the double? When you first heard it, did you think that maybe it was out?
Yeah, man, I wish it was out, you know, I wish. But I mean, it's unbelievable, man. He threw me a good pitch. I batted my whole way, you know. I can't guarantee that I'll get a hit or a walk every time, but I can guarantee you most of the time I'll put up a good at-bat, you know. I'll work my best.
How exciting is this, a month in the big leagues, to be playing in the World Series?
And I mean, we're a few days away from the World Series, man. I mean, I started in the minors to be here. It's unbelievable, man. Sometimes I can't imagine.
Is half of Aruba going to come here for the World Series?
You know, I don't know, man. Probably a lot of people will come. A lot of Red Sox fans down there, you know. I'll probably have some of my family members there, though.
That's great. Thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Now, I'm sure all of Aruba will be watching him closely in the World Series. In other local news, after every election, there is a formal process where the leader of the new government talks to key stakeholders on the island. This includes unions, private sector, or public. Prime Minister Mike Amon last week took into consideration the input from every side in order to effectively determine how to go about the next 4 years.
Tourism is currently the bread and butter of Aruba. During a formal meeting with various stakeholders from all sectors on the island and the Prime Minister, the topic of tourism was a main concern. Within the last 4 years, Aruba has been able to not only increase the amount of visitors coming to the island, but also hiked up the tourist spending. With that being said, though, the goal is still to get back to numbers we had 8 years ago.
What we were discussing this afternoon with the Prime Minister and his team is building on the past 4 years and moving forward. The tourism industry has done very well since 2008, recovered from the financial crisis at that time. There's been significant growth, not just in the number of arrivals, but in the financial performance of the hotels. But clearly we're not back to where we were in 2005, and there is a concern that we still have a ways to go.
The primary concern for AHATA is keeping Aruba in demand. The island needs to continue to attract the type of tourists it already does, but also the island needs to expand.
From a tourism perspective, what we're really particularly concerned about is making sure that our industry, which generates 85% of Aruba's income and Aruba's employment, 17 out of 20 jobs depend on tourism, that we're as competitive as possible, and that in a global environment where everybody's trying to steal the business from each other, it's absolutely vital that Aruba is able to compete and is able to provide the kind of quality product that its visitors are expecting.
According to Jim, the hotels are on board. They are willing to invest to keep Aruba updated, fresh, and interesting. Hoteliers understands that in order to encourage tourists to spend more, they need to see the value in the product.
We also talked about basically costs of doing business, because the sector wants to play its part. I mean, the government has made a commitment to improving the public infrastructure. And what we want to do is to continue reinvesting in our product to ensure that, as I say, we're as competitive as possible, that we have the best product available. And I know the hotels, the Renaissance, Paul Gielin was with us in the meeting. They're investing another $10 million next year on improving the Renaissance properties. Spent $10 million this year. The Hyatt is spending another $10 million. The Marriott has just completed its upgrading. So basically what we're saying is that if we're going to be able to continue to improve, then we have to have the optimum financial and economic conditions. And that's what we were discussing with the Prime Minister.
Let's take a very quick break. Please join us back here at Matthew's beautiful beachside restaurant right after this. Welcome back from the break. If you are just joining us now, we are doing 15 on 15 right here at Matthew's Beachside Restaurant. For now, let's get started on your lifestyle segment before I talk to you about the food. Now, the media on the island has brought plenty of attention to the invasion of lionfish on our waters. But the situation has become so dire that major media outlets such as CNN are informing viewers on it. Take a look.
CNN has broadcasted an extensive special report on the lionfish invading the Atlantic Ocean. Experts are saying the lionfish invasion in the Atlantic is most likely the worst environmental disaster the Atlantic will ever face. Bermuda first got the lionfish back in 2000. In 13 years' time, they have spread from Bermuda all the way out to the Caribbean. The rapid reproduction of this fish has even caught top scientists off guard. There are no predators for this fish except human beings. The irony here is the lionfish first appeared in the ocean due to irresponsible human error. The fish were simply thrown into the ocean.
In the CNN report, it confirmed that lionfish is populating 30 to 40,000 eggs every 4 to 5 days. That's a lot. People in Bermuda are capturing the fish one at a time with new technology. A man in Curacao, our sister island, invented something called a zookeeper tool to make capturing the fish easier. This was all reported in the CNN report. Now let's move on to a completely different note. Of course, we all like to enjoy and consume the delicious dishes that is always available to us. But things like wiping the table and sweeping the floor are not strenuous enough to be considered as exercise to move all those calories away. A new study says housework is not strenuous enough to count towards people's activity. It had been thought they could be considered towards the recommended 150 minutes of moderately intense activity per week. But new research has found those who count housework as sort of a workout activity were heavier than those who did other activities. Experts say physical activities only counted when they made breathing more rapid and the heartbeat faster. With that being said, it is still positive to encourage domestic activities in people who may not take part in sports or go to the gym. They warn that while any activity is still better than none, people should be aware that they still need to meet the moderate activity target on top in order to work out your daily intakes of calories. And moving forward, exercising is of course important, but so is your diet. There are 5 types of food you shouldn't eat. Check this out.
The first out of 5 foods you shouldn't eat are items with saturated fat. This includes fatty meats or foods containing palm or coconut oil. The second one is avoid trans fat. These types of foods raises your bad cholesterol while lowering your good ones. You can find this in margarines or in commercially baked goods such as cookies and cakes. Other foods include simple sugars, added syrups, and any grain that is not 100% whole grain. Doctors say you should consume more than 1/3 of a teaspoon of sugar in an hour.
So good thing we don't have any sugar here. We are using Matthew's Beachside Restaurant as a backdrop today, and they are kind enough to showcase some of their dishes to us. And your best bet, doctors say, is to stick to fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and low-fat proteins. On that note, we are going to take a break. Stay with us. If you are just joining us now, we took the show outside of the ATV studios and we are at Matthew's Beachside Restaurant. Now let's get right back into it. There is an annual event on the island organized by a hotel in hopes of bringing locals and tourists together. The Battle of the Food Truck event is back for this weekend.
Tropicana Hotel and Casino invites all of the food trucks on the island to battle it out for the top honor at the Trop Club and Casino's parking lot. Usually, locals enjoy food trucks late at night on their way home, but this event allows locals as well tourists to come check out what the food trucks in different neighborhoods have to offer.
It's a perfect event to showcase Aruba's culture. It definitely brings together the locals and the tourists. Who doesn't like a free entry, a lot of bands, cheap beer, and good cheap food, and a lot of good quality as well. People are surprised about some of the hidden culinary aspects of Aruba's late night dining surprises. So it was a really good event for families.
Food trucks competing against one another isn't a new concept, but it's definitely a one-of-a-kind event for the island.
This certainly wasn't an original idea. Most of the big cities in the United States have some type of food truck event. In New York, they're known for their culinary aspects, and you'll see some gourmet trucks out there driving around. Having visited a few times some of Aruba's late night food stands, I thought it was important to kind of introduce these to the general populace. If you generally, because you're going to the food trucks late at night, because that's when they come out, you don't always get to sample different trucks around the island. You usually end up close to your house. So this allowed people to do it during more normal hours, I guess waking hours, as well as bring their kids out.
Since most of the tourists understands the idea of a food truck battle, it will spark their interest to check out a local event in Aruba.
Our location is the perfect location. We are in the high-rise, low-rise area, going to the high-rise, where we have the majority of, I would say, around 2,000 rooms around us, where the majority of the tourists is on walking distance from us. And the tourists, especially from the U.S., are known for the trucks, for the food trucks, and especially it's known as well for the famous food truck competition that they have, the race competition food truck that they have. So people coming here, they're mingling with the locals, asking the locals about the food and how is this, because it's a different food than they used to back in their home country. So they're having fun, they're integrating, they're talking to the locals, and having fun. Like last year, what we have the first time when we started this, we had tourists sending us emails. So now we know about the trucks, we know about the food, but we want to know where the location is.
There is absolutely no entry fee for the Battle of the Food Trucks event. You can enjoy the good entertainment and food this weekend on Friday and Saturday at the Trop Club and Casino parking lot, which is outside Buster's Garage. And of course, you will have to purchase the food and drinks tickets. But on the next show, organizers will reveal why it wasn't so easy getting the food trucks to leave their signature locations for one weekend and join the battle. That is our show for today. Thank you for joining us at the beautiful Matthew's Beachside Restaurant. We'll see you Tuesday night at 7:15 p.m. back in the studio.